Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. As I'm sure you know by now, these leadership training videos have been going through different aspects of leadership, looking at what the leadership traits are that you might need, leadership qualities, how to become a more effective leader, or how to lead more successfully, depending on what you're looking for. Hopefully through these leadership training videos, I've left a few nuggets, a few trails for you to discover for yourself. Today we're going to talk about teaching. Teaching as a leader. Now you might say to me, I'm not interested in teaching. I'm not a teacher. It's not about teaching for me. I'm just here to lead. And that's noble, and that's fair, and that's right. But hopefully by the time I finish sharing with you those aspects of teaching in leadership and why they're important, that you'll reconsider or indeed raise the bar for yourself. So my name is Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, training and developing teams across 5 major markets in Europe, Middle East and Africa, and of course working with teams across those different markets as well. Now if you're familiar, I always request that if you like what you hear or you have thoughts and ideas, please feel free to like, comment and share. And of course, subscribe to this channel so you know what other videos are coming up, and indeed you can check out the previous ones. So teaching. Here are a few of the things that we're going to run through, but I'll come back to them in a minute. If I said to you, what does a teacher do? What would your answer be? No doubt you scroll back in your mind and you think about school, from nursery right the way to primary, secondary, kindergarten, you started out or whatever, and then maybe you went on to college, university, maybe you didn't. But it doesn't really matter. The point is, teachers have provided you and me with something. We have learned something. We've acquired new knowledge and information that we didn't have when we first started. Whether it's in terms of when you're in kindergarten or nursery, mobility skills, awareness of what's going on around you, the world you live in, animals, nature. We've learned stuff, no doubt, that we will never use. We're not here to debate the importance of the educational system depending on the country that you're in. We're just talking about the fundamental aspect of teaching. And each and every one of us has learnt something. So let's just explore that for a minute. One of the things about teaching is, the first thing is to recognize as human beings, we all want to learn. We all want to learn something new. Maybe something that is a challenge, something we're not aware of, curiosity. Whatever it is that drives us, we want to learn. That's the first fundamental thing about human nature. The other thing is that generally we all want to learn something new, something we didn't know before, something we've just discovered, whether it's through our own research or through somebody else explaining it to us. We all want to be shown how to learn as well. Imagine you're on a training course, or maybe even if we take these leadership training videos, maybe there's stuff that you know, and I hope there is, but there's other stuff that you don't know or you aren't aware of or you hadn't thought of in that sort of way. You thought, that's interesting, hadn't thought about that, that's great. Or I disagree with that, but here's what I think. It doesn't matter, that's part of the education process. So maybe to be shown how to learn. We also want to be shown what to learn. If you're given a big thick book or a manual or something, wouldn't it be great if someone said to you, ignore pages 1 to 99. You should start at page 299 to about 350. That's where the key piece of information is that you're looking for. Or maybe it's another way where you say, I want to learn this fast. I'm on the fast path to wherever. And therefore you don't begin with the fundamentals. And somebody says to you, you need the fundamentals, the beginning foundation, the platform. Here are the things to learn. Otherwise you will not be able to progress further later on. So we need to be shown how to learn, what to learn, and when to learn. Because there are some things that you can learn today, and there are others that need to wait until later that you learn about. Almost like a training development program. There's a step to follow. So nobody, for example, could become the leader, could not have your position or role unless they understood the key elements. Which, by the way, reminds me of a story that I've mentioned in a previous video where when I joined a new company, I would often say, depending on when the meeting was, a few weeks maybe into the role that I had, I would say to them, to somebody in the team or the team as a group, who would like to have my job? Who would like to have my position and my role? Now, inevitably, the first thought is, it's a trick question. He's looking at who to fire. If I say I want his job, then I might be on the list for you're out the door. But it wasn't that at all. I reassured them it was to say, if you want my job and my role and my position, which one day you can have, because I will not stay here forever. It's not been my modus operandi in terms of my leadership and development growth. If you want to have my role, I'm going to need to train and develop you. I'm going to need to teach you the core skills and elements that you need to be able to have my role and my position. So teaching is important. Okay, you may be sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I can't teach. That's fair, that's legitimate. You might say, I don't like to teach. And even more importantly, you might say, I don't want to teach anyone anyway. I would put it to you that if you are a leader, or you choose to be a leader, or you want to be a more successful leader, if either of these two is where your headspace is right now, then you've got a serious self-reflection to go about doing, because you need to understand there's something that is going to block you. It's like the ceiling. It's going to stop you from getting to the next stage of where you want to. So you can't say, I don't like to teach. You can't say, I don't like to teach anyone, which is different. In other words, you don't want to share your knowledge and insight. If you can't teach, that's okay. But once again, I put it to you. If you are, for example, a parent, you imagine immediately what I'm going to say. As a parent, one of the things that you most want to do, apart from love and cherish your children, is to teach them different skills, knowledge, whether it's behavioral, whether it's growing, whether it's support, whatever it happens to be. You want to teach your children something that allows them to improve and become the best person that they can be, whenever that is, because at some stage they will leave home and go on and do what they want to do. Okay, if you don't have children, maybe you have nephews, nieces, maybe you have friends, cousins, siblings, whatever it happens to be. Think of the environment you're in. It may equally be that you are working outside of maybe your leadership role in the office, and you're supporting other groups and organizations, people who are less capable, less able, don't have the skills. Maybe you're teaching somebody violin. Maybe you're teaching somebody sports. Maybe you're a referee in a particular game. It doesn't matter. You're supporting the growth. So teaching is something that comes naturally. It's just a question of getting maybe bogged down with the idea of teaching, and you say, oh, I can't teach. This is not school anymore. It's about sharing. So once again, if either of these is where you are, you need to think about it and see where you're going to take that in terms of self-reflection. So in terms of teaching, here are some of the takeaways on the importance of why it is your duty, your responsibility to teach. Firstly, because it provides whoever you are teaching the opportunity to be a facilitator to them. So you help them navigate the waters. You provide them with instructions, what they have to do, when they have to do it, and how they have to do it. You give them guidance in terms of things that are working and not working, and how they can navigate those particular waters. Very importantly, you give them direction. So through this guidance and putting back into the instructions where you wanted them to go and how to do it, maybe they're off target. You want to get them back on target so they're on that route that you planned for them. Of course, you want to give them encouragement, just like we do anybody that we're teaching or training, whether it's teaching them a sport, whether it's raising our children, and they come back with some great work and you say, well done. even if it's not particularly great, but you still say, well done, you can do better, and here's how. That's where the guidance comes in. But encouragement, we all need encouragement to know we're on the right path. And of course, way more than encouragement, it's motivation to push them in the direction that you want them to go, because you know that they can do it and you know they can be successful. You also provide them with discipline. So in teaching, just like in a classroom, there's a time to start and a time to finish. You bring your pencils, crayons, whatever it is you're required to bring in. There are things that you're supposed to do, and those could be part of the instruction, but it's part of the discipline, that if you don't do it, there is a consequence. Now, we don't play too much with consequences. If you're truly wanting to teach people something, they will understand. If they turn up to football and they don't have their football boots, they will only do it once. They won't do it twice, because you won't let them play without football boots, of course. So discipline is important, because through all of this, and the fundamental foundation of teaching your individuals is that you want them to grow into future leaders. It's about helping them to become more tomorrow than they are today, to be more successful tomorrow than they are today. And you know, one of the great things, one of the great legacies, if you like, of teaching, where you show them all this love and attention and support, is that you will be building a bedrock in your department, your team, your company, which says to people, I like to be here. I like working here. I like my boss. I like the way he or she leads. They're less likely to leave you than if you chose not to pay any attention to them and teach them how they can become better. Because very few of us actually want to be at the same level all the time, even if people don't want to be leaders, and not everybody does. Some are very happy where they are, and that's okay. I'll remind you of a phrase which Napoleon Hill said in his great book, Think and Grow Rich. There are great leaders and there are great followers. And remember that great leaders were at some stage great followers. So there are those who maybe it's not the time to grow into leadership. They're quite happy where they are. Respect them for that. So our role is to teach, to help people to grow into better people, better leaders, and for you equally to become a better leader. So I hope that this has resonated with you. Please feel free to like, share, and comment. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to speaking to you again on one of our future leadership training videos. Thank you.